turns my stomach, this does.
Always another errand to see.
Tell is, vermin was once a beast-twin kingdom.
Truly?
Indeed. Though 'tis not widely known among the common folk.
Sir, ought you not be in... Ah, forgive me. You're not a patient, are you? I suppose you must be a visitor. 'Tis a pleasure to make your acquaintance. My name is Eleanor. I have the privilege of serving as abbess here. I regret that I cannot offer you a cup of tea, but I'm in the middle of making my rounds of the patients. Not to mention, I have to find the means to procure more medicinal ingredients. Oh. You wouldn't happen to know someone willing to brave the roads, would you? I know 'tis perilous, but there is one ingredient in particular we cannot afford to run out of. You would procure it yourself? I am grateful beyond words, sir. In that case, might I trouble you to bring me some miasmite? The slums are a bane to the body's humors, and its residents are oft prone to illness. We do what we can with what little we have, but we're always short on helping hands. Your aid is most appreciated, sir. May your search prove fruitful.
Tell is, miasmite can be harvested from bantries, monsters that wander the world or the night.
Yes, of course. I see it now.
I don't know what to do.
I find your company to be rather... There's been talk of a mysterious structure rising from the sea. I'm not... sure what to make of it. Much obliged.
I don't know what to do. Yes, sir. Have you procured what I asked? Splendid. You've my gratitude. Unfortunately, I can give you little more than that. Forgive me, but I must return to my rounds directly. Ah, but in place of a reward, mayhap I could give you a tour of the premises. Only if you've the time and inclination, of course. What say you? Would you care to accompany me? As servants of the gracious hand, we provide whatever treatment we can to those unfortunate who are stricken by maladies. Yet, at times, 'tis not enough. Perhaps you will recall the parents who were here when you first arrived. An unfortunate pair. They've suffered no few hardships in the slums, and now even their poor son Lubomir has fallen ill. By chance, he was examined by a roaming man claiming to be a doctor. Yet, the family had not the money for the medicine he required. So, he was put into our care. Here he is. This young man is Lubomir. We've been administering the medicine recommended by the doctor who examined him, but he has yet to show any sign of recovery. To be perfectly honest, I doubt the soundness of that so-called doctor's judgment. After all, there is no shortage of ne'er-do-wells out there, willing to claim their medicine the only cure, that they might inflate its price. But I suppose I ought not say such things so openly. At any rate, I'd best continue on my rounds. Pray, stay as long as you wish. Come, come. We've medicine to prepare. We've enough to make a fresh batch now, thanks to a kind donation.
Psst! You there. Help me. Listen, the sisters here are good to us, but I'm growing weaker day by day. It started with a slight fever, and now I can scarce lift myself up. See that empty bed? An old man was lying in it till just a few days past. He told me he was feeling better, that he'd be well enough to leave anon. And now he's... Mayhap I'm just imagining things. I hope that's the case. And yet... Gah... Something isn't right about this place. Pray, should you hear any queer rumors about the Gracious Hand, come tell me of them, won't you? I'd see to it myself, but I can hardly move.
Is there aught I can assist you with? Each of our patients deserves our full attention. Would that we had more hands to aid us. Might you be a friend of Lubomir's? He's seen better days, hasn't he? There has been talk of sending him down to the basement, should his condition fail to improve. That is, the basement sick room, where our most critical patients convalesce under the Abbess's care. None of the other sisters are permitted entry, including myself. Teles. She gives the patients a special medicine. I know not what kind. At times I hear strange cries and moans drift up from below. Which is to be expected. Those who come here suffer all manner of afflictions, you see. And yet, a part of me is afeard for them.
So, the worst of us are taken to the basement. Mayhap that's the source of the queer voices I hear at night. And none save the Abbess can enter? If the Gracious Hand has a secret, 'tis the Abbess who keeps it, I reckon. You've done this much for me. Would you be willing to go further? I must find out what goes on down there. You've my thanks. I just can't stomach the thought of lying here not knowing. Of course, all the better should your search come to naught. But if you do find aught amiss down in that basement, it must be the Abbess's doing. Should you find evidence fit to implicate her, will you help me see to it that justice is carried out? See, I've already reported my suspicions to the Sentinels, and we've arranged a signal. If you apprehend the Abbess, they'll know to come and arrest her. So I beg you, sir, find the evidence you need, if it exists to be found.
To get to the bottom of what is happening at the Gracious Hand, we shall have to acquire evidence of any misdeeds.
True enough.
How might we enter the basement sick room?
I've not got food atwixt my teeth, had I? Isn't there anything to do round here?
The patients in this room must not be disturbed. Leave this place at once.
Oh, someone help me. Jahan? Bruno, where have you gone? Oh.
Mayhap you'll think this a trifle, but I find these former Arisen rather fascinating. Though they are Arisen no longer, it seems they still retain...
We've found some evidence, but there might be more to discover. Let us scour every inch of this room.
I concur.
Chaos in the world begins with chaos of the mind.
It was a poultry repast. Every chance to put my feet up.
Fear clouds my mind. I feel no sense to right.
I'm aching for a fight.
Just remember.
This might be worth a read.
Shall we take a closer look? This place offers a view of the sea.
I imagine we would not escape a plunge into the water's depths.
I haven't seen my husband in some time. You wouldn't happen to know what's become of him, would you, sir?
material.
Lady Eleanor's a goodly person, a saint-like. Her earnest care saw me back to full health. I wavered between life and death for quite some time in that basement sick room, and she watched o'er me through it all, bless her. Can't say as I miss that basement, mind. 'Tis an eerie place, dark and shadowy, filled with the moaning of the sick. Suppose 'tis only to be expected, given the state of those assembled. I'm sure I was moaning too.
Elena. Ah, yes. The abbess of the gracious hand. A fine woman by all accounts. I was in her care once myself. But I must admit, I've always felt there's something off about her. You see, I was only a little under the weather when I entered her care. But then I started getting sicker and sicker till I was certain death would come for me. In the end, I survived, but methinks I was one of the lucky few. So many died down there. And once, I saw her, the abbess, meeting with a strange man. She handed him a large parcel, all wrapped up, and he gave her something small in return. You'd think 'twere medicine, but I'd not have bought medicine from a man like that. He had the look of a scoundrel about him. They were whispering, but I did hear one of them say aught about keeping quiet. 'Tis well suspicious, eh? Where'd they meet? 'Twas in the square in the eastern part of the common quarter, and always a night, as I recall.
I'll gather this. It might be of use.
I swear I've never slept better.
My head hurts just thinking about it.
Oh, could use a rest.
Ho there. How have you fared? Might I beg a favor of you? You have my gratitude.
Fired an ale to keep me warm. Can't wait for the new equipment.
Anything better than this. Even the grave.
I've been on my feet all day. My legs are as lead.
I suppose there can be no harm in bringing this along.
We cannot expect gleaming treasures round every corner.
Whatever am I to do?
Places such as this depend upon my
Fancy a look at my work.
There's a ladder here.
We ought to put it to good use.
So many happy voices carried on.
Interested in my wares?
If 'twere up to me,
Days like
I'd
this
never
make me
leave.
glad to be alive.
He's busy.
Here.
Aye, this is plenty. Lord Phasus is like to be in your debt. Nicely done. Suppose it can't have been easy to procure this much so quickly.
You suppose wrong. I command their full faith. 'Tis simple for me to extract what I require.
Ha! You're a fearsome one. Here's hoping I ne'er end up in your care.
Enough. I gave you yours, now you give me mine. I'd not be seen here with you.
Ah, of course. Wouldn't want to hurt the Lady Saint's image in the eyes of the common folk, would we? Here's your special medicine.
Glad we understand each other. Till next time.
Aye, be seeing you.
This is not the first we've heard of Lord Phasus. What could his aim be, I wonder?
I'm not sure what we're dealing with here.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
You looking to join? Don't bother.
Interested in my wares?
You have my fullest confidence. Do not forget that we work to serve.
I'm a tad preoccupied just now, if you can't tell.
We'll pull through yet.
through yet.
Well met, sir. See you again. Fine wares. It's nice to see everyone out and about. That's rather put me out.
My head hurts just thinking about it.
This is my sort of place, the more the merrier. The hour for prayer is still not come.
I fear I must attend to my...
You're back! Pray, tell me, have you found anything? These look like records of treatment. Johann and Bruno. I know these two. They left here not long ago, fit as a pair of fiddles. I recall them being especially meek to the abbess. Mayhap that's what got them out safely. At any rate, they may know aught of use. Loath as I am to ask more of you, perhaps you would speak to them in my stead? You're back! Pray, tell me, have you found anything? What? You found a medicine used only in the basement sick room? I don't like the sound of that. Do you think... Could I trouble you to look into this as well? Mayhap you could show it to the doctor I saw before coming here. Radcliffe, his name was. He's staying in the rest town. Pray, sir, do what you can. I must know.
Methinks we would do well to bring this medicine to Sir Ratcliffe, the doctor over in the rest town.
Right you are.
My head hurts just thinking about it.
My fur stands on end.
There's a ladder here.
We ought to put it to good use.